Afternoon, Facebook. This is Stephen in Wiltshire in England, and I'm waiting to be joined by David Vaughan from NC. And before we start, a call out to everybody who's interested in live video to join David, John, and I in LVS 17, which now has over 200 people interested in live video, either broadcasting for the last couple of years, last couple of weeks, or just thinking about it. And we'd love you to join us, and that is better. Right, David should be with us shortly. I'm going to change the screen layout, and when I see David, you were in the queue, you're now out of the queue.
I'm out of the queue.
Yeah, there seems to be an additional check in the when you invite people on that they're actually in the room, which is a fair check, really. Because in previous times I could press the invite button and then it would work first time, but this time it didn't. So that's by the by anyway. I'm just going to make an adjustment to my camera. That's better. That's better. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm just amazed actually at the quality of Smiletime. I have to say this. I just did a show. Somebody contacted me from Nepal, which is a small country, 26 million people, on the borders of China. And I've got to say that I didn't hold out too much hope for a good signal.
Right.
But in the event, the signal was darn near perfect. And he was, Chris was in his factory in Nepal, and he was demonstrating his product range, and it was pretty darn good.
Nice.
Impressive, very impressive. So we're going global, not just across between the USA and the UK. We can bring in people from around the world, which, you know.
And that's pretty impressive to be able to come from China. Or you said Nepal. So that's
Nepal, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember
and Tish is getting ready to
problem with Blab is that people in China couldn't join unless they had a VPN. Yep. That's what Will in China did. So
that's you've got to bypass it. But the quality from Nepal was well. If you're interested in textiles and you're interested in wool and you're interested in a whole range of products made from felt, then just take a look at my timeline on Facebook and you'll find the video. And David's gone while I'm doing the advert, which is fair enough. Take a look at Trish. Okay, thank you for that, Trish. It's good to have you with us. If anybody watching would like to join David and I on the show today, then just come along to the link which is above and press. Right, okay. Now everybody else is talking about it, so should we?
What is everybody else talking about?
We were asked a question last Monday, and the question was, and I'll read it out again: is Summit Live worthwhile? Now I'm going to give my 2 pennies before you give yours. I watched earlier a broadcast by somebody who was there, and obviously the people who were there know most about what was going on. But looking from the outside, it was an excellent networking event if you wanted to meet your fellow live streamers. As a lot of good networking went on and people connected with each other. My only hope is that the people who backed this, well, I'm going to say, I don't want anybody to lose money on live video. So I'm going to say, I hope they made some money on it. That's it. That's the end of my bit. I mean, it worked as a networking event. The shows that came from there were good, and you could sort of say, gainsay it, but I don't see why we should. I don't. It was just, it adds to the mix. I mean, I can't talk. I'm in the UK, and Summit Live UK is supposed to take place in March, and it's been cancelled. So
yes, it has been canceled.
Is unfortunate. But I've got to admit one thing here. Until Jonathan and Jen and Rachel started broadcasting about Summit Live, I didn't know anything about it, and I certainly had never heard of Summit Live UK. So it's raised awareness, and I've since got in contact with a lady who's organising Summit UK. So some good has come of it.
Okay.
What's your take?
I wasn't there either. I've read various. I won't say all. I've read some various posts.
Yeah.
I've seen some. I saw some. I've spoken with some people that were there.
Okay.
I've watched
good.
some broadcasts of some people that were there.
Yeah.
To define worthwhile is really a personal thing.
I agree.
I guess it really depends on the goals that you have. All I can tell you is that I wasn't going to go. I didn't see where it was going to be beneficial to me for various different reasons. And so I'm were there mistakes? Apparently so. Are there mistakes at any event? Yes. And I have helped host events. They're challenging.
Yes.
But you learn each time and you grow. If somebody were to come to me and say, well, what are some of the things that you would do differently? I'd probably start listing some of those things out.
Right.
Hats off to, gauging it as a success or a failure is going to be different. Hats off to Ryan Bell and crew, for getting through it. That's one thing, is getting through it. I mean,
I
again,
totally
things
join
happen
you.
and stuff like that, and I'm just I don't have the wherewithal of joining in some of the I don't see the purpose of it, of joining in on some of the banter and some of the feedback. Jonathan and I talked about this on Friday. A lot of it's kind of like armchair quarterbacking, which is a term here in the U.S., which means it's always easy from the comfort of your lazy boy to say what you would have done differently, or what's wrong, or scream at the television, or scream at your phone. Anyway.
I agree with your sentiments towards Ryan and the crew who organised it, and I hope that the people who actually did go there this year and enjoyed themselves will work with that team to make sure there's a 2018 one. And as you said, perhaps some lessons learned. But it's brave. It is very brave to put on an event because you don't know which way it's going to go. And from a networking point of view, I can see it succeeded in spades, because people who wouldn't have met or had reason to meet did get a chance to get together in real life and talk to each other.
Yeah. There were some people that were extremely satisfied with being able to meet some people in real life.
Yep. Indeed. And I'm just going to check.
If that was one of your goals, then good.
Right. Another of our goals is quality video, isn't it? Is quality video and quality sound. And
yes.
You and I have just seen the latest version of vMix. Well, I was on the inside.
Yeah. Leland. I caught the replay of Leland's adventure, and you joined him, and I thought that was kind of neat.
It was neat. I mean, it was painless. I've got to say that, as opposed to the mashup that was done with Appearing, it was painless, because you can put together stages or scenes or something, and you can bring up to 4 people on, depending on your how much you're getting upstream.
Yeah.
But the quality was good, and of course you're in control then of the recording, aren't you? And that's where we're falling foul at the moment, in the quality of recording.
The recording, the quality, and I get what you're talking about, and what Steven's talking about is this was using a piece of software with Leland, and a combination of using server services with ooh, see, now you went and did that. I'm on mobile, so now I have to
Sorry.
adjust.
Sorry, I did that without telling you.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I'm still getting used to the mobile and doing things, and it's still, the camera's different, so it just blows me up and makes me widescreen because you're hosting from desktop. Anyway, you know, as with the quality of the video and the audio and without hiccups and everything looks great and you run it for a while, that's all well and fine. It just depends on how many people are actually using the service. And this was one of the things that we ran into with Fire Talk, with Huzzah. You know, these were things that I had brought up to each of those platforms and even to Smiletime. You know, it when there's nothing using it, then of course the quality should be great and the experience should be great and there should be no hiccups. If there are hiccups and nobody's using it, then it you know, really needs to go back to the drawing board. We'll see, you know, how it turns out. But you know, as long as it's scalable and it can grow, I'm not going to downplay it. So.
No, I'm not either. I mean, we're still in a situation where Smiletime and another platform are in the lead as far as that's concerned. I think that part of the problem lies with Facebook themselves. But if more people are doing live video on Facebook,
that is part of the problem, is that Facebook is still Facebook has, you know, still having growing pain issues. I mean, even with their own stuff, but let alone the API can have issues. I mean, Smiletime demonstrated that late last year. They had there's an artist named Lindsay Sterling. And she was on, and she pretty much broke the API for Facebook video, for Smiletime getting Facebook video to Facebook. Yep. So, you know, all that was kind of interesting.
Indeed. I'd like to say hello to Ish, Nazim, and Peter. Nazim, if you'd like to join us on air, and Peter, if you want 5 minutes to talk about tonight's show, you can join us too. But we are stipulating the 5 minutes, aren't we, David?
Yes.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I did a very enjoyable show last night with, yesterday afternoon, I suppose, with April. And
I have not caught that. I knew you were doing it, but I hadn't caught it.
Well, you find I don't normally do broadcasts over the weekend. I try to take the weekend off, but I did have the opportunity to broadcast with April because Sunday is a better day, so we agreed to do it yesterday. And it went very well. It's a very enjoyable hour, and I'm twisting April's arm so that we can do it again in March.
Good.
And just once. Every Sunday, the last Sunday in March is what I'm aiming for. And I think April's agreed, so that's good. I think I learned a lot about net friending, and it's a great way. I mean, live video is a great way to net friend and contact people.
It is.
Because people watch the video, and if they're in your circle, then you just say hello. If they're not in your circle, you can bring them in. And that's you know, as happened to us last week, somebody actually watched us live, joined the group and did their first video, and that's the magic.
Yeah.
Because they joined LES 17 and straight away did their first ever live video.
Yep.
And as you and I were talking behind the scenes last week, to have that happen means that not only do we enjoy doing this show, but we're actually making a difference. Right, so I'm going to assume that Peter's either not watching us, or he's just disappeared. If anybody does have questions for us,
Peter's in Facebook, it looks like.
Right, okay. Then please ask them. We're willing to try and answer everything, and if we can't, then we'll find out. But these days, we tend to know a little bit about what we're talking about.
A fair share.
Oh yeah, we do between us. Right, I've got to ask about something. It's not related to live video, but I need to ask this. Did you catch the Oscars last night?
I did not. I don't watch that. I haven't watched the Oscars in a long time. I don't even know how many years I stopped watching the Oscars. And that comes from working in the entertainment industry, I guess.
Right.
There are things that go on with the Oscars that I don't take part into, so I don't support it that way.
I fully understand, and it's when things go well, the Oscars are on at 2:00 in the morning here, so the viewership isn't that large over here. But I mean, yesterday, Jesse's faux pas in announcing the wrong best film has got to rank up there with, mistakes that is going to be retold forever. The day the Oscar went to the wrong film. So we'll skip on that then, because I thought you might have.
Well, I did know about that, and I know that it was actually the accounting firm's fault, not the person that was reading the card's fault. Once again, but in the end, it doesn't really matter. It's the person announcing. It's like Steve Harvey announcing the wrong Miss Universe. Is that what it was a couple years ago?
Yeah. People remember the mistakes, don't they?
They do, but Steve Harvey is kind of an interesting individual. He embraced it and went with it, and it was what it was. He took the jokes and the puns. He made jokes and puns about it himself. He reached out to the people to apologize, and people still they'll remember it, but they've moved past it, and that's typically what happens, is that we eventually move past things and we forget.
Until somebody wants to write a newspaper article about the 10 worst gaffes ever, and it gets resurrected again 10 years later, and you can't escape from it. You can't escape from it. That's something I do want to come on to, and that's mistakes in live video.
Yep.
We're going to make them, aren't we?
They're going to happen. You will not avoid them. You can do your darndest. I critique everything that I do live.
Right.
I'm my worst critic, or my biggest critic. I don't know.
Both are right, I think.
Yeah, I could sit there, and it's been that way with anything that I do. But you will find the important thing is not to allow yourself to not go live because you're trying to do too much.
Yeah.
It's kind of a good example is last week. Stephen and I were doing this last week, and not once but twice, I got kicked off somehow out of the. There was that blip. I was still on stage. I was still talking, but Stephen actually had to eject me, or dismiss me from stage and then bring me back. And then once that happened, and it happened again. And I reached out to Smiletime about it, and their basic response was, well, I had a network hiccup. Okay, I could accept that maybe once, twice. That's a bit odd, but okay. And then I was on someone's Smilecast. I can't even remember who it was, Thursday or Friday. It happened again. Jonathan. It was Friday. It was Jonathan's thing. It happened again. That's not my network at that point. I can guarantee it's not my network.
And talking of errors, I've got an error at the moment. I can't bring anybody in. When I press invite, it just goes back. And I know Nazim wants to join us, and possibly Leland as well. So what I'm going to do, hopefully, just for a moment. You want me to refresh?
Sure.
Let's go for it. I'm going to refresh.
It's not me. I can't invite them. See, on the phone, it's weird. He's frozen up, so I have to see if it's going to. And this is an interesting test. I have to see if it's actually going to unfreeze. Oh, there he goes. Okay, now he's unfrozen. Just refresh. And just refresh. That's right.
Hey, what's going on? Did we lose David?
Now I'm on the big screen.
Oh, wow. There he is. Cool. Oh, he was switching stages. Okay. What's going on,
I
Jen?
haven't said anything yet. I was waiting.
Yeah. Saw that. Oh, are you running iOS? Oh, okay.
That's weird. Mine or Leland's? Oh, really?
He was a little fuzzy. He looks good now. He was a little fuzzy there when he first went to the big screen. All right. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, Steven.
It can be viscous, virtual box. It can be a few things.
Software currently is called vMix Call, which is a WebRTC website. And you can go take a look at it real quick. It's vmixcall.com. Your host or producer in vMix is allowing an input for that feed by simply giving you a code, and you enter that code, and then you become part of the show within the vMix software. Then you can articulate the other person's video and audio feeds any way you like, whether it's in a 2-square format like David and I are in right now, or whether it's up to actually 8 people if you have the pro version. Now, I'm not certain, and I haven't confirmed, but I think this might be the case. You can't use it unless you actually purchase the software. And when you get the basic HD package, which is like $60, you can do one interview. If you get the 4K version, which is I think in the hundreds of dollars, $300-something, you get the 4 seat ability, and then if you have the pro version, you can actually do up to 8 people via WebRTC feeds. And of course, you're going to have the bandwidth. But very, very cool add-on to what vMix has always had to offer. It's going to be a big change in the way people do some broadcasts. That happened to us last week, David. You're going to have to refresh, because when Steve and I did our show last Tuesday, we broadcast out. When I made a switch to the stages for some reason, we lost everything I was doing, even though everybody here saw it and everything between Steven and I was visible and audio was fine. We started to hear word in the Facebook chat that, hey, we can't see Leland. He's gone. We can't hear him or nothing. And it went on for like 5 minutes.
All right. Well, let me.
I'll stay here and hold down the fort. Hey, there's Nazim.
Good afternoon.
There's Nazim.
I had an issue. It was like flashing. You know the green button? It was flashing 100 times.
Yeah, you got to. I think Smiletime's having some big time growing pains. So I see me back on the camera. Okay, so Steve, I didn't have to get off. Steven did whatever, and it works.
Oh, okay.
Let's leave Leland in the big spotlight.
Oh dear. Thanks for that.
Let's take it in turns.
I think this is the first time I've been on the show. Hard?
Wow.
What are we going to discuss? What are we going to talk about now?
Yeah, bring Nazim into the big thing.
Well, Leland was talking. I don't know, Nazim. You wanted to come on camera? Did you have a question?
No. My question was regarding. My wife has a theory that last night's Oscar thing, fumble, was done on purpose.
Carry on.
Was done what?
Was done on purpose.
I thought about that too.
Just to get people to finally pay attention to something that was losing a little bit of its audience.
Well, I thought that too, but I actually. There's always been an issue with African Americans in the Oscars in the past few years. I shouldn't say always. In the past few years,
Okay.
And I found it very interesting that the mistake was made
Precisely
on
with that
an
film.
all-black cast
Mm-hmm.
type film. And I just, like I say, I had that same kind of conspiracy theory thought in the back of my head. And that is one of the reasons that I don't
Bring it up.
like that whole Oscar thing and don't watch it and participate and everything. So
Now, what about those 7 planets?
what 7 planets?
The
It's
ones
only
that
40.
they discovered.
Only 40 light
Oh, I
years
hear
away.
that,
It shouldn't be.
Yeah, I hear if you get your ticket now, then you can join Summit Live next year there.
SpaceX already has it plotted out to get it out there. So.
And it will get Blab and a Meerkat live from one of the planets as well.
Jesus, David. Now.
I think it's kind of neat, but
has anyone seen the back end of We Kiki Party yet?
Nope, it's been delayed again.
I
saw
have
that.
not seen.
But I like Kiki, and I think Kiki's going to come through.
Kiki shares
Kiki's
awesome.
going to come through.
Yeah, I think she is too. Her and it was their girlfriend or something are both out of they coded in college or something, didn't they?
They're coders.
Yeah.
I think there's a good group of them that are. I don't think it's just those two. It might be just those two. I know Vicky Fitch. I think Vicky Fitch has seen the back end of it.
Some people have.
Some people have. I have not seen.
It looks just like
what they're considering the alpha.
Yeah.
So as long as it's not built
it
on TalkBox, which if they're having development issues, then more than likely it's not built on TalkBox. It's their own wine and cheese.
Their wine and cheese.
I discovered another one. I just talked with the gentleman the other day from Talkie.io, or they have Talkie Core, which is a way you can incorporate WebRTC either as a single code of JavaScript into something you've already developed, like a web app or a phone app. And they also do a lot more customization if you want to build your own system in. But they've been doing it for like 5 years and tried and true everything when it comes to bugging the system or debugging the system. So there are other options. And Michael, Lucy, and I have been kind of collaborating in the back end of things, just poking around with EasyRTC. Well, he has. I gave him an idea and a couple of web links to some source code, and he's been poking around, built up his own server on a Linux box, and was able to create WebRTC environment that could get bigger if you expand it.
I think those are all very interesting experiments. If I were to come up with a live streaming platform or thing, I would call it La La Land.
There you go. I'm hearing my own voice being replayed in someone else's.
Not me.
Not me. I don't think
Could be David.
it doesn't have to be us. We've discovered it's not us. It's basically it's the overlay, isn't it?
Somebody else is coming in with their audio. Yeah, it's happened before.
Yeah. So what happens now is we all go out for one by one and come back, and we can hear it 4 times.
He says to kick him
Well,
off.
hopefully, I mean, sorry.
David wanted you to kick him off so he could come back in.
Okay. Yeah. Done.
Stephen, I missed your show. I missed your show today. 2 hours before, I was tied up.
Oh right. Okay. That was quite amazing. I was telling Leland earlier when we did it.
I'm going to look at the replay when I get back home.
What blew me away was the sheer quality, because he is in Nepal, which borders with China, which is different. There's 3 time zones away from us.
No, my daughter was there this Christmas. She went to do a job out there for some organization for children, and she said it's an amazing place. So I have to look at the quality, because internet is quite difficult out there.
Yeah, I mean, basically, he runs a factory producing quality felt goods, which he exports around the world, Germany, France, UK and USA, and he's trying to get a foothold in social media. So I don't know how we came in contact with each other, but it's one of those moments where you think, well, I'll run with this and try and do something. I was expecting him to come in either by a mobile phone,
right,
or with a bad connection, when in actual fact what happened, and this was Smiletime, was the connection was absolutely amazing. And he was able to show us around his shop and talk all about his goods. So the future, I mean, the future of this particular platform for selling real world goods is just not been tapped yet. Yeah. So I was blown away, and kudos to Smiletime, because in that particular occasion, it worked perfectly.
good,
Which is what we're looking
very
for.
good.
All right, I'm back.
All right, David.
And Center State, you are back, and you're looking good. You are looking good. Has to be said.
Yeah.
Your video signal is a lot better.
Got it on mobile app.
Okay, and we have a comment in from David.
What web RTC news system or app by that woman were you speaking about? Kiki.
And Leland answered.
Leland put the link in the side chat. Kiki party.
Yeah. I haven't seen the inside yet, but I hear good things about it, and we're hoping we got to wish her the best, because whenever somebody spends all that time, effort, and money to produce something like that, and have a kickoff that's been delayed because of minor bugs and complications, then we just got to keep pushing.
I got to add to what you just said. We got to wish her well. I got to add also to everybody who is using all the platforms out there and exploring and doing all their stuff. I gotta just say that we gotta wish all of these people well, because and without any sort of little he does it better and she does it better. They don't. I don't know. It's guys. This is my opinion, and I'm going to close my little. It's not a rant. When there's discussions of this nature, I mean, there's always going to be hiccups on all these platforms. It's the internet. There's going to be hiccups on the. Yeah, sometimes you have to study beforehand to make sure that you avoid those problems. But there's a lot of times that there's a learning process, and you get involved in something that just we've all had. We've never had perfect live streams from every single platform we've been on. So when there's a discussion, it's nice that there's an open discussion, but I think it should always be positive and supporting everybody that does everything. That's my opinion.
I agree with your opinion. We should always support people who are trying to give us services. And I mean, they're actually doing it in our instance. They're doing it for free.
Exactly.
And when it's for free, and programmers have put hours into creating it, then we should support it and help it to succeed.
Exactly.
In our interest.
And what's going to happen is, obviously, as live streaming keeps rising as a priority, obviously all us pioneers that are involved in different ways, be it mobile, be it studio, be it whatever, are always going to become a little bit edgy and say, well, I would do it like this, I would do it like that's correct. That's true. But I think if there's a community and the community rallies around each other, it's better, as opposed to becoming and I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to. That's my little thing. Basta.
I think what it really comes down to, Nazim, in most cases, is that we can't always please or get along with everyone either, and we do run into those all the time who we just don't resonate with, or we just don't get along with, and I try to simply avoid those situations rather than get all heated and mixed up into it, because it doesn't do anyone any good to get all complaining. But what I do appreciate is if somebody wants criticism, they'll ask for it. If somebody says, hey, take a look at this show that I didn't tell me how it came out, then you have a right to give some constructive criticism. But to just come out because you feel like you have to, make a comment, do it with some class is all. And I think what came down recently, there was a lot said, but there were a lot of good communications made through that. And a lot of people were impressed with the way the thread.
I think so. Oh, yeah.
I'm sure we know what we're talking about, but it's just one of those. It's no big deal.
No big deal.
Well, guys, I got to roll. I got some appointments coming up, so I appreciate the time to come on your show, Stephen and David. Great job as always. And move along.
Leland.
We'll see you guys.
See you later.
In the next stream. All right. Bye.
Leland.
Bye, Leon.
Right. Okay. And welcome. And it's good to hear from Karinda
Oh, how did his
Hey,
operation
Robert.
go?
Hey, Robert.
and
Hello,
Robert.
somebody gave
Robert's here
a shout
too.
out.
Yeah.
He's on Facebook.
He's watching on Facebook. How do you
if
know when?
anybody-
How do you know when somebody's watching? Can you know that somebody's watching on Facebook if you're here?
Is it? No. Only if they comment.
Okay.
Or,
Because it gets that little F. Okay, gotcha.
Yep, it gets the F.
The logo.
or if you've got a gigabit internet and you can actually have two tabs open at the same time without affecting performance. I can't do that. I can't watch Facebook and be here at the same time. And I accept that. That's no problem because this is where my concentration is.
Gotcha.
But David is very fortunate and he knows it. He's got a decent internet connection. If anybody's watching live on Facebook and wants to join us, you'll find the link up above and you're more than welcome to come and join us in the room. And we can put Smiletime to its full test and we can go on and off screen. No problem at all.
Not with the mobile app though. The mobile app is.
I got a question.
And they told me. In fact, I'm gonna do it while I'm.
Okay. Yeah.
I got a question. I got a question for you, Smiletime experts.
Okay.
Okay, let me shoot. When do you guys find out when there's going to be an update, or are you guys? Is it indicated to you, or does it just occur and no?
No. Well, no, I get one for the mobile app, but that's only because I'm one of the beta testers. So
Okay.
I get an email saying because they're running it through Test Flight, so Test Flight actually sends out an email and says, "Hey, there's an update." On the main dashboard, before you go into anybody's channel, there's a "What's New" up in the top right hand, and that goes to their blog. They haven't updated it in quite a while.
Okay.
Just because, I don't know why they haven't updated it in quite a while. I don't work for them. What I would suggest though is, you can check there, and see when they're, if there's anything.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they announced there's going to be an update. That there's like a change log. We did this. We did that. We did that. We did this. No.
When they do an update that they feel is worth pushing out, and the big thing is that they've been working on the mobile really hard, and I'm kind of shocked that we haven't gotten any kind of update on the mobile in almost 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the other thing is that we are getting updated via the shows that go out on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I mean, if you
you can drop into those. You can drop into those and ask questions and.
Oh yeah, that's with the guys from Smiletime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the best way probably. But I'm just curious because sometimes when you have these platforms and you've got to deal with certain things, if you get an update at a crucial moment that you're like doing a demo to a client or something, that would make me a little bit nervous.
Well, they do it all the time. Alex, the CEO, comes on all the time, and he's pitching it to somebody,
Gotcha.
integrating it, trying to get them to get some interest in the platform. So,
Gotcha. Okay.
But so Nazim brought up an interesting point where he was talking about live streaming becoming more growing.
Yes. Yep. So yeah.
And I think that one thing that has still been demonstrated is that there is a disconnection between problem and solution.
Okay.
And how live video can help. What we see a lot of is kind of what I'm really calling hybrid interactive. It's more still soapbox talk show type stuff. I guess people need to see a solution out of it. And Carlos and Zan, who are doing
I saw that, the real estate thing.
LiveStream Masters. I don't know. I can't remember, and I don't want to butcher it by saying it incorrectly. But anyway, they were doing something with real estate. I haven't seen it yet.
I saw it. Very interesting.
But all these are. It's still growing. We still have to get out. I mean, still the solution is really, go local. Go out with your phone and do a live stream of your favorite place and get people interested in looking out for this type of stuff. But don't do what people can get on television or on any device through Hulu or Netflix or Amazon or any of the mobile apps or anything. If that is the only thing you do, there's still a disconnect of, what's the big deal? What's the difference between this and a video that I can do that is polished, which is Stephen brought up, and this was one of the reasons I wanted to come back around to this, is that, with live video, there's going to be mistakes. There's been several mistakes throughout this one Smilecast. They've all pretty much related to me and me using the mobile app and not being on and all this type of stuff. But to a lot of people, that's very unprofessional. That's very, I don't want that because then that's going to tarnish our brand and our image and stuff. We all have to get past that type of
mentality.
And the way to get past that mentality is to stop equating what we've got this as being broadcast television or a YouTube video or a Vimeo video that either you've done all the editing and gotten everything critiqued right, or you paid somebody else to do. Those are the big differences. Nazim and his wife have done a really good job, with a couple. I think you've done 2 now, right? You've gone, and they've gone live on lots of different things, but they've given tours around. They've talked with the individual or the people that have joined up and watched, and that to me is kind of more to the area that this is going to be. Don't ignore the comments. Don't ignore the people, and by all means, still make sure that what you're doing is inviting the replay players to watch you live next time to make sure that you don't leave them out because, again, it's still so new. But that's, if more people go and do little quick things like Nazim's doing locally, hey, this is, a favorite park or, and talk about it. And hey, people may not give you any interest at all, but they may ask you questions about other things. Oh, why are you at the park today? It's the middle of the day. Why aren't you working like the rest of us slaves? All these different things. That's interactive. That's engaging. It's not so much being able to bring somebody on who really gives a crap if you can actually get it to Facebook, versus it being on Periscope or something of that nature. Stop worrying about all these stupid details. And just go live and interact and engage with the people and stop trying to treat it like it's television. I really disliked whoever said it, and I think I know who said it, but I'm not going to name this. Where it was like, everybody's got their own channel now. Everybody's got their own show. I still don't like the term show because we have, as Nazim has said, a mentality behind what that equates to, because that's what we're used to, and you're not going to change it overnight. You were not going to have that type of disruption. You want to disrupt, take your phone, take your tablet, and go out and do something, or sit in your office, and when somebody comes in who's a really neat client, get them on camera. Say, hey, listen, would you mind answering a few questions and maybe pick up a few others and all this type of stuff and make it about other people and not you and all this type of stuff.
Exactly.
Those are all things that will help live video boost, become more mainstream or whatever. Those are things that are going to be copying what somebody else is doing is not going to do it. Getting on camera, ranting and raving and not listening, that's not going to do it. Hey, Robert.
We listened there, and it's a good point to say hello, Robert, and welcome, and we'd welcome your thoughts on what should be Well, first of all, what should a live broadcast be called, and what should be in it?
Well, I mean, Dave already, he stole the thunder because he knows me. I agree with him 100%. I think people should just pick up their phone and go. Don't worry about the diva light and the special camera and the microphone and things like that, especially for people that are new to it. You don't want to go spend $1,000 for something you're going to.
Absolutely. When I teach people about video and doing video, the last thing I do is sit there and say, okay, well, you need this lighting kit, and you need this microphone, and you need this tripod, and oh, by the way, you're going to need lots of different backgrounds. Oh, you're going to have something that's going to pop it up. You're going to need a space that's large enough for you to be able to do all this because, screw all that type of stuff. If you've never gone on video, pick your phone up and do video, or your webcam, or whatever you want to do. Just do video. Because honestly, here's the thing. Nobody cares about your early years. Nobody cares about your first 5 videos. Nobody cares about your first 5 podcasts. Nobody cares about your first 5 blogs.
Gary V. The wine thing. Think of Gary V. When he was a camera in front of a table with a white wall talking.
Yeah, but Gary V wasn't the first one to do it, and
I'm using it as an example.
Right? No, exactly. There are people that have sat there. I've got a friend, Ray William Johnson, and some people know him, and some people don't. And if you do or you don't, it doesn't really matter. But if you watched he used to do a thing called Equals 3, and he did a twice weekly show. Anyway, if you looked at the really early ones. Oh, man, he was at his kitchen table. You could tell what he had for breakfast 3 days before, all these different types of things. And then if you looked as it progressed over the years, it's just – and it's the same thing with live. It's just like anything if you're doing this for business, it's not going to make you money. Not a lot. Not retirement money. Not FU money. And that's what we all really want, right? FU money. I'm keeping it PG.
You are keeping it clean. We appreciate it.
Is Vicky in the room? Is Vicky in the room?
Brandon's in school.
There might be children or something of that.
In school. Don't worry.
I'm earmuffing it. Okay, FU money. We all know what that is.
Saying earlier, when going on what he's saying is, let's go back 2 years. I mean, you obviously live streaming has gone back further because it was on the computer and everything else. But just go back 2 years when Meerkat came out, which is almost 2 years ago now. Just the end of this coming month is Meerkat, and Periscope will be out 2 years, the end of March. When we were on Periscope, what was it? It was your phone. That's it. You didn't worry about lighting and cameras and everything else. You just came on. So going on what David just said, yes, you could have a weekly show if you want and get all the fun stuff and everything else, and you could have your own show. But the biggest thing about live streaming, in my perspective and teaching with live streaming in business, is you have your own voice. And this gives you the ability to put your message out and about what you want to talk about. Whether it's Nazim in Italy giving the tours and things like that. David and I and a bunch of us have done, when Blab was around, we did our football talk.
Yeah, that was good.
Whatever we wanted to do. And that's the whole idea about live streaming. And people are forgetting it. They're pushing so much of it on business. Now, granted, that's what I do for a living. Yes, I teach it for business. But it's not just for business. It's for personal use. Let's say people that are working with support children with autism, or people that are doing – it could be used for anything. So having that ability to just pick up your phone or pick up Smiletime on your desktop or anything else and be able to talk about something. I mean, think about it like a group on Facebook. Having the ability to have a common cause and ability to have conversations about something, but now you could do it live in person. Is that better, David?
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it's right on track. It's kind of like, and I know I make enemies.
Not as many as I do.
Realtors. I always love to use realtors as an example. And Twitter. It drove me nuts when the first things that realtors do once they get a Twitter account is what? What do they tweet?
Listings.
Their listings. Gives a crap about. I don't need another area getting the same stuff that I can get in 5 other areas from you. Go on Twitter and answer questions about school districts or loan rates or all these different things. Well, you can do the same thing with live video. I am not telling you that, and this is where the show word comes in the weirdness. I'm not saying you can't theme. I think you should. I think that could help, because you're not going to have any viewers in the beginning. They're going to be, and it's going to be really discouraging. And that's actually something I'm going to go live and talk about later on, probably today, if I'm get the time out, is talking about numbers, and stop focusing on the wrong ones. But you're not going to have any viewers. So, you're not going to have people to sit there and go ask you questions that you can respond to. So you do need to have something that you can follow along with and say, okay, well, this, and then when people come in, you can ask, answer questions and banter back and forth and engage with them. So a theme type deal would be good. I'm not saying you don't do that. What I'm saying is that you're not Oprah or Ellen or Dr. Phil.
House of the Month Club,
or Judge Judy, or something. Yeah, exactly, or something of that nature. If you're a realtor and you've got a favorite, I don't know, handyman person that sits there and gets the houses all trimmed and propped up, talk with them. We're so worried, and what this stems a lot from is that we're so worried about if I don't want to lose business. I may be able to service them. Are you a plumber? If you're not a plumber, then you can't service them. Stop trying to be the solution of everything. Be the solution of what you are in your life. So anyway, that's that.
Concentrate on what you're good at.
Yeah. And just go live. And Stephen brought up the guy, and I know who you're talking about. I can't say his name, Shafiq or something like that. I think is who you're referring to last week. He was in our broadcast, then he joined the group, and then he went live, and he broadcasted in the group. I was kind of up and down about that, but anyway. But I mean, it was neat. He showed me this area. It was a really pretty area, and he was like, and this is a market that every tourist should go to. I didn't catch it live, but I would have been like, okay, why should I go to that market? What's so popular about it? So all that type of stuff is neat. Just do that. Go live.
I got to bring up, and then in addition to that, what I like, and it goes back to what you're talking about, I like people that think outside of the box a little bit, that use it as what Robert's saying, because thinking outside of the box for a certain type of discussions about, from Google Plus, we know the people that we're talking about. I don't mention all the names, but there's people that really do some interesting stuff that, you don't typically see, or maybe you see it on like a cable television in the States. But thinking outside of the box, there's this guy called Yusuf Omar. He works for the Hindu Times in India, and this guy goes all over the place, and he does really interesting journalism on the fly. And he was in Sweden yesterday talking with the guy who runs a Sweden Twitter account, who responded to Trump's thing about the thing, and the guy was telling him, like, there's nothing going on here. I don't know what you're talking about. So, and it was very interesting. It was thinking outside the box, walking down the street, just talking. And it went on for a good 45 minutes. And it was great entertainment. Yeah. And it was outside of the box. It was not your typical type of thing, So,
and one thing that Robert's mentioned in one of his recent articles that I've said before as well is, when you just go live, if you're struggling to come up with the next blog article or the next podcast or something like that, just go live, because you can then take that and you can pull
repurpose it, use it,
and get the you can wait a few days to a week, and YouTube will provide you the actual closed caption translation, whatever, that you can copy out and post and tweak for a blog article. You can rip the audio out and make it a podcast. You can get a whole bunch of stuff that can give you, lots of stuff, Instagram posts and all these different things that you can start doing. So go live.
And you can also reverse the whole situation of, if you have an old blog turn it into a live stream.
Mhm.
Just take the notes, put them little on a sticky or something, the bullet points of it, and there's your live stream.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly another way of thinking outside of the box. I like it.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And saying what we were saying with Dave, realtors, because that's definitely my forte. I've been a realtor, so I understand it. There's so many things. I was just talking a few weeks ago in DC about it. People are like, well, what do I show? Houses? I'm like, no. Show the neighborhood. Interview restaurant owners of why they love the town.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Just realtors forget
give that additional, the additional value that you don't typically see.
Why do people buy in a certain town? Because that's the lifestyle they want.
Yeah, the location.
So the lifestyle of the town.
What's so big about black granite countertops? It's not the houses. It's you can chunk it down. Why do people like stainless steel appliances? I have no idea.
The cleaning factor is definitely not one.
Stainless steel is, but that comes from a long time of the hospitality industry, I guess, being in it.
There you go.
I've seen enough stainless steel to last me. Talk about lighting. Talk about, what is it that, inspectors look for when in the electrical, or why is it important
curb appeal
to have, curb appeal or pest
control.
Yeah, but it's something I have to do it every year. I don't know. I pay $100 and the guy comes out and goes under my house and says, I don't have any termites. And I'm like, well, I could have gone in there and done that. But anyway.
But you get a certificate.
It was suggested when we bought the house, and everybody else around here, we could all be just lemmings and just following along with something stupid. But I don't know. They were like, well, you'll have to come up with it later on.
Every industry, it doesn't matter whether we're talking about realtors right now, but if it's restaurants, if it's florists, if it's a doctor, even attorneys and accountants, they could be coming on and talking about things. Now, obviously, attorney and accountants have to be more questionable about what they talk about because it's different from state to state or country to country, but they could be more general about things. And then if they say, if you need, expertise in my area, in my state, I can definitely help you. But it's just all these little things that are going on out there. And it's Nazim, it is being outside the box.
Yeah.
People, I'm watching even realtors that are using live streaming. They're coming on and all they're doing is showing houses.
But taking things outside of the box also, and the reason I'm talking about, and people are like, well, why would I go around and talk? Because people don't do business. People do business with people. Is basically what I'm trying to get at.
That's very
So if you're a realtor and you live in an area, it'd be nice, oh, well, this guy apparently likes samba, or this guy likes to go to microbrews, or all that type of stuff. When you're introducing, then you become more of an authority in your area. You become more likable, you become more approachable, you start getting into the words that I hate using, like trust and authentic.
Got that chill.
Because that's but people start to see that type of stuff. And here's the thing, I see these people resist, or I talk to people who are resisting, and I'm like, and I go and look, and I said, I bet if I go and look at your Facebook timeline, you had no problem resisting about how you feel about this, or how you feel about that, or what your opinion on this was, or all these different. I said, I guarantee, or your Twitter account, or your Instagram account, you've got no problem whatsoever. So why do you have a problem doing it like this? And then they start to think, and I'm like, yeah, and that's and stop doing it with all the duck face things on your business page, unless that's what you do.
And we have a comment from Jess.
And the time's gone by. Thank you once again for joining us.
Next week,
noonish.
Now, this is the problem with just going live. You have to maintain a certain level of professionalism, especially in real estate.
No, you don't.
True.
You have to maintain a certain level of professionalism in everything.
Yeah.
It's not just real estate. It's everything.
Be yourself, but be professional. So,
yeah.
yeah, we didn't get Peter on the show, so I've got to take a moment here, if you excuse me, and I'll bring everybody back in a moment.
Well, actually, I got to jump off.
Oh,
I actually got to go on a coaching call right now, so I'm going to jump off. David, good to see you as always. You got my message. Nazim, always good to see you.
Same here.
Steven,
okay, take care.
take care.
All right.
David on the site says realtors can also do remote showings of a property. Yes, they can.
Yeah.
I do most of my stuff mobile. All my live stuff is mobile from Italy. I'm not showing properties, but we're going on Facebook Live.
Well, just talking about thinking outside the box for a moment. There's a show tonight, which is on at 7:30, where our friend Peter, I'm going to say it for him, David. Our friend Peter is interviewing a local artist about her business, and I'm showing Peter there. I'll show the local artist.
Yeah, we'd rather see the local artist.
Okay, and he's on at 7 o'clock tonight on the Talkinator page on Facebook, and he's talking to Sheila about art, about how she went into business and networking, a whole range of things, because he does a different show every week. Because he talks to people in different trades.
Interesting.
And it's based in Aberdeen, and he invites all Aberdeen businessmen and ladies to join him live and to talk about their businesses.
Smart, Peter. A local show.
Well, the thing is, if you look at the stats for the show, 80% of his viewers are local,
Excellent.
which is brilliant.
Brilliant.
I mean, there are 80% of viewers are in Scotland, only 20% north south of the border in England. So he's hitting his target audience. Now, I've got to give him his due here. He's actually spending money to do it. Not a lot of money, but he's spending on advertising, promoting on Facebook, and it's working because he's getting right. Okay, Peter's here now. I knew that was tempting fate.
He's on Facebook.
He's on Facebook. Anybody can come and watch the show. Anybody can come and be interviewed on the show. I think that's the point that Peter's making, and it's at 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. GMT.
Excellent. Tonight. I'm going to see if I can catch it.
Brilliant.
Well, gentlemen, I'm going to head on off.
Well, thanks for joining, Nazim.
Indeed. Thank you.
Thanks for the invite.
I'll see you later. Take care. And we'll change up the layout again. And that's better. Right. Okay. It happened again. People just dropped by for a chat.
Yeah.
And everybody who joined.
We got some good stuff out, and like I say, I'm going to go live at some point later today, and I am going to talk about numbers,
yes.
and why you're paying attention to the wrong ones, or the wrong one, and I'm going to equate it to a couple of different things. But I will be talking about that because that's beginning to bother me. That I see a lot of people concerned over that, and it's preventing them. So that's one thing I'm going to talk about. But yeah, we had a good show today, or a good talk, or a good Smilecast, or whatever.
Well,
see, I get caught up because I call it a show, and I'm like, "What should we call this?"
No, I never pull you up on that. But we do need a new word. So the competition this week, everybody who's watching, is could you find a synonym for show, please, that David and I can use?
Well, when it comes to Smiletime, I do try and not say. I try and refrain from saying show, and I do try and eject in Smilecast. Because that's what Smiletime has come up with. Is that a Smilecast, and we're all Smilecasters, and we're creators, and blah blah blah. But it's kind of hard. It's kind of like live streaming. To me, it's redundant. Streaming kind of indicates live.
It does, yeah. There's some words are getting checked there.
Live means now, and streaming means in order to be streaming. Well, I'm streaming it. I may be streaming something that was recorded, but I'm streaming it now. So anyway, that's why I try and say live video, because live streaming is also not very definitive. Live streaming what? Live streaming a podcast, or radio has been live streaming for a while. Anyway,
perhaps we can rebrand. If you and I talk during the week, we'll do a bit of rebranding.
Well, you've got live video streaming 17, so we don't have to rebrand. We're good.
Yeah. All right, we're good.
You covered it. I'm not worried about us. It's when these are just little nuances. You know,
True.
I don't want anything to prevent you from going live. So if you want to call it live streaming,
me not go live?
No, not you. Everybody that's watching on the replay. Once again,
I have a friend called Babs, and she's got 3 letters that she says to everybody, and that's JDI. Just do it.
Yeah,
just do it. If you don't do it, you'll never know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to everybody who's watched us today, David, I keep asking you, but
I can do it. That's fine. So once again, thank you everyone who's joined us for another fun-filled hour with Stephen over in the UK and me over in North Carolina on the stateside. If you're watching the replay, thank you very much. If you'd like to catch us, we do this pretty much every Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. GMT. And if you've got any questions, or if you want to join the live video streaming 17 Facebook group, just search Facebook for LVS17 and request to join. And some of us will actually respond to you. No, somebody will respond to you. Yes.
Indeed.
Thanks a lot for joining. And my name's David. I appreciate everyone watching. Thanks.
And I'm Stephen, and I also appreciate everybody who's watched today. We'll see you next week. Bye for now. Which way do I? Bye.